Get them fired up and get them to the staging lanes, baby, because 8th Mile Apparel is now carrying Going Bracket Racing merch. Hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and much more can be yours today by visiting 8thmileapparel.com. We appreciate each and every one of you guys supporting the Going Bracket Racing YouTube and Facebook pages.
What's up, everybody? Casey and George here on June 24th, 2025 for episode 197 of the Going Bracket Racing podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you being here with us for all this time. I don't know, going on at least 5 years now. Might be the sixth year. I know it's the sixth season, but anyway, we got to thank those people that have been with us from the get-go. TSR Racing Products, thank you for all of your support throughout the years. Go to them for your power glides, your turbo 350s, 400, 727 transmission parts and accessories. I've bought my fair share of that stuff lately, as y'all know. If you've been watching the show, go back in the archives and figure out why. BRG 3D printed parts, anything you need, Brian Garrett will print that up for you. Any kind of custom parts or accessories you need for your race car, high density polymers and plastics, doesn't add weight to your ride. BRG 3D printed parts, the place to go. Syntex Printing out there in Temple, Texas. You got to go out there and get your stickers, get your shirts, get your brochures, get whatever you need for your business. They got all kinds of stuff out there. Syntex Printing, Driven Racing Oil. We are the guys that give you the code GBR10 to get 10% off your order. Anything you order off that Driven Red website, there is no limit. You get oil for your truck, get you some transmission fluid, get you some race car oil. That GP1's the best stuff you can possibly run with those methanol products. Get you some of that Speed Clean, because this time of year, we all know that you left that white trailer under those trees too long and you were too lazy to clean it up. And that Speed Clean will make it look as new as it could possibly look. And then you just got to put a coat of wax on that. Looks brand new. Good to go. GBR10, get yourself 10% off that order. You're going to need a lot of it. Proform Parts. Visit proformparts.com for your chop tools, carburetors, alternators, radiators, accessories, all kinds of stuff on there. And by the way, they might be doing some giveaways with us this year as well. You need to be subscribed and following everywhere you possibly can so you don't get left out of those types of things. I think we have a post on our Facebook page right now. Put in there what you want us to give away from Proform Parts catalog, and maybe we can make it happen for you. I guess that's all I got to say about that. Go look on the Facebook page and put your words in. Crew Chief Pro software. If you haven't figured out how to run them new motors yet, Don Higgins had it figured out a long time ago. Quit wasting your time. Get you some Crew Chief Pro software and get that ET predicted. Maybe you're going to the U.S. Nationals. You're going to need a little bit of help. Gearhead Solutions. Let me tell you over there, Gearhead Solutions, you need any kind of parts, you want to talk to somebody who actually knows what you're talking about and actually knows what you need, maybe even a little bit better than you do. Call Trevor over there at Gearhead Solutions. Great customer service, access to over 1,000 vendors. He can get you what you need in time for the race weekend. And, of course, our newest partner, I think one of my phones is ringing over here, our newest partner, Mid-State Dragway in Havana, Illinois. The place we've been talking about, having those twin tins, one of the best deals you could have in bracket racing. You can double the entire weekend. 2 10Ks, double the whole weekend for $500. Next one, I think it's July 25th through 27th. They got a no-box bonus. They got round money. They got a free 10K for the top 30 in points. Oh, by the way, they got a points program. And if you're not in that top 30, they're going to pick 2 wild card positions for racers that are entered in the points program to get into that free 10K. What more do you want, as Brad Gebhart would say? What more do you want from me, Casey? What more do you want? And, of course, visit 8th Mile Apparel. Get your GBR hats, T-shirts, hoodies. You shouldn't need a hoodie right now. I don't know where you live at. Maybe you're a Canadian. I don't know. You wear shorts whenever it's 40 degrees outside. It's a little hot where I'm at, but you're going to need them hoodies one of these times. So go to 8thmileapparel.com and get some. George,
Yo,
how'd I do on them?
I think you did good, man. You
Oh,
slipped
thanks.
that new one in there very nice. It was safe. It was good. I got a lot of phone calls from that race, guys. Special shout out to everybody who was out there participating. And look forward to seeing you guys back out there at Mid-State Dragway. Casey, man, not much going on over here. It's pretty hot, just like you said. It's getting hotter and hotter. And been a long week, man. That's about it so far. But hey, we're not going to prolong it because we do got a guest on the show today. It's been a while since we had a guest, and it's maybe Doug's second time on, I think, Casey. But if you don't know Doug Foley, everybody, well, meet Doug Foley. Doug, what's going on?
How you guys doing?
So far, so good, man. I hope your heater's working.
Heater is on full tilt. Luckily, I'm inside, not outside.
It's a little hot out here in North Carolina these days. See, I think they said the heat index right now, and I think they said the heat index right now is like 112. So not good.
Not
Yeah, I
good.
talked to Josh Peak this morning, and he was over at our Galat track, and he was telling me how miserable it was outside. So that's I'm in Cincinnati right now, but let me tell you, it's not any cooler, I promise.
No, I'm sure the humidity is a lot higher. That's where me and George are. Well, we're not from Cincinnati, but we're from that Midwestern area, and we know how that humidity gets to you. That's the only good thing is whenever it gets this hot, it burns all of the humidity off for the most part if you're lucky. I can tell you right now, it's a lot better today than it was yesterday. But Doug, man, obviously we're going to talk about tons of stuff on here. Obviously, you got a big part to do with IHRA. But first of all, before we get into all the IHRA talk, I want to talk about the success that you just had at the TB 250K. Obviously, your brother won it last year. Your brother won another race this year. I mean, semifinals in the $250,000 race. Let's talk a little bit about TB Promotions to begin with and what they're doing over there and just the general success you guys have been having with their events.
Yeah, they put on a great show. Tyler and Brian, really their entire staff. I mean, you look at top to bottom, like I said, Tyler, Brian, you got Shauna and Megan and Gina and PJ and Don. I mean, they just have Jeb's, Jeb's their race director. They got it really going on. I think they care about the racers. They got really nice facilities, which, helps their case as well. So yeah, they put on a great show. I love going to their races. That week was rough. Rougher than really anybody thought for me. On my side of things, I left the Roadster at home and brought my truck just because I'm planning on staying on the road until I don't know. I really don't. Maybe sometime in October. I don't know. So brought the truck and have intentions on my brother coming in and taking it sometimes and going racing when I'm working. And so yeah, I got up there and the jack on my trailer didn't work. My battery in my trailer shorted out. My race car, I've never been, brand new motor, tranny converter. I mean, the Scott at Don Davis just completely rewired it. New shocks from Dave down there, and it was the whole thing that I was kind of like, man, these tabs aren't real cheap, and going in there with no runs at all really isn't probably a smart idea. But there's really not a whole lot of things I do that are smart, so why change now? And the truck, it was nasty all weekend. It really was. I just kept finding myself on the wrong side of just badass drag races, which sucks, obviously, as you guys know. It sticks that knife in your heart pretty quickly, and it just seemed to keep turning inside my heart all week. At one point I keep a track of what my tab is. That way, by the end of the weekend, when I go to tab out, I at least know what I owe them. And at noon on Saturday, I think I owed them 54 and change.
Yeah.
And that when you're getting kicked around like I was, and then you look at your tab and realize it's $5,400, and we're running out of days pretty quick. So
Hey, you need a new trailer jack.
yeah, it was a whole deal. So luckily I can't even, the truck was good. I was good, but I wasn't great by any stretch. I definitely got my lucky rounds, and just kind of kept it rolling. And luckily enough for me, they let me get down to the semis where my $5,400 tab was the furthest thing from what I was worried about at that point. And let me cash in for a semifinal appearance. It was a nice payday. So racing for that kind of money, I've raced for, I feel like, just about everything there is to race for, and there's absolutely nothing like racing for $250,000. You kind of, when you have that kind of money on the line, you have that idea of when the round, when the split's going to be. So obviously the round before, it's like, all right, you got to get through this one, and then you probably will get paid. So when that came on, I think it was 5th round or whatever it was, that was a pretty big sign of relief there. But
well, that difference between that split round is, I mean, a lot of times very, very substantial, like $10,000, $12,000 at times in those mega races.
Yeah, so it actually, the split in this race actually didn't get really carried away until later on. But I had to run the round before that. I kind of thought the split would be. I had to run Aaron Dysinger, and which is obviously no slouch. He's one up there at the I think it was SFG races. He went on like a complete tear one year, so I didn't exactly have a bye run by any stretch. So that win leg coming on there was that was really nice. And but now you're in the split, and now you got to run Ryan Barnes. It's not like there's no easy draw that you sit there and you're like, oh man, this one's probably going to be an easy one. I can roll a couple thou in. Wasn't the case. So but yeah, luckily I got down to obviously my brother ran the guy that I lost to at 4 last year in the finals, so I knew he was going to be good. I didn't think he was going to be that good by any stretch. And honestly, I didn't think I was going to be. I didn't really set up to make that run next to him. I wasn't trying to be low 00, wasn't really trying to take low 00 either, to be honest with you. I thought maybe 15 or 20 total and be safe, and I think I was 4 take 5 to be 2 thou under, which at the end of we were already in the money at that point, but still, I mean, the Louisville Slugger and the check that says $250,000 on it meant more to me at that point than any dollar amount that us drag racers, you could give us $50,000 right now and we could have it spent in the next 3 minutes. That's not a problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Spending money is my strong suit. So
well, we already covered that before just getting in the gate. But, man, do you think, and I'm leading this into the next question, really, but Brian and Tyler are obviously racers, good racers in their own right, putting on a program. PJ, obviously, is a big part of that program, also a racer. Don O'Neill, also a racer. I guess the point is, everyone is a racer. The greatest events that we see right now are all put on by racers. All the great American guys, they're racers. Biondo obviously is a racer. And you can go on and on down the list. Do you think racers being in charge are what makes those events so good?
Yes and no. I mean, there's racers that put on races that I don't think are good races at all. So, to be honest with you, so I just think that, I don't know if I'm not going to open that can of worms.
Well, so this is my point.
Because
Go ahead,
you've already mentioned a little bit of what I think makes TB promotions really, really strong from top to bottom, from head of the pits to the announcer's booth, to the video cameras in the announcer's booth now, that just seems to be a well-oiled machine from where you pay your tabs or buy your buybacks, and I think you get a cookie even when you do that or something. It's just a really good touch. I think you've already alluded to that a little bit, Doug. Maybe you can add a little bit more to that particular part of why TB Promotions is basically becoming a pretty good juggernaut right now. I want to say that the Virginia race that's happening coming up here soon already sold like 300 and something entries, and it's probably more than that by now. And they just put it out, I think, today. So there's a lot going on. Sorry to cut you off, Casey.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, the TB deal, now I'm good. I'm great friends with everybody there from top to bottom, and I don't know if it's just my opinion because I'm that close with all those guys or not, but it really feels like a family atmosphere there, which I really enjoy. Like, you're getting crushed all weekend, and you still don't. That's not what's on top of mind when you're, after you're done losing. So being able to hang out with all your friends and everybody cuts up, and it's just a different atmosphere. It's not political. It's not corporate. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Well, and that was kind of my point, is just the people who are actually, they're us. Like, those guys are us that are putting on the race. They're not some big event promoter. They're not out to, I mean, obviously they're doing it to make money. That's fine. That's their business model. All of us go to work to make money too. That's fine. But my point is that those guys, if they could make, $5,000 more by screwing some people, they're not going to do it because they're one of us. And I guess my overall point of that question was, I wanted to get into the IHRA stuff, and a lot of those guys that are involved with IHRA are racers. And we've been some of the, two of the biggest champions, I guess, of just saying IHRA is going to be something, everybody wait and see. And I think now it's starting to come to fruition with, everybody's main thing they kept saying was, oh, they're never going to get these fuel cars. Well, look at the people that are just, I know that you guys are slow playing the announcements and stuff, but obviously we've already announced Del Creasy, Scott Palmer, Krista Baldwin, like NHRA people that are already committed to coming to these races. And the first race is at National Trails next week, I believe, or is it the week after?
July 9th through the 12th. So we still got 2 weeks, but
that's going to be the first event. We're already announcing major fuel cars that we know could be competitive in the NHRA. So top tier teams. What do you expect to see at this first event?
I don't know, but it's coming in a hurry. To be straight up with you guys, it's been a whirlwind, 1,000%. I've put in more effort and more work, and not just me, but it's everybody here. That a lot of the people that work for IHRA, nobody knows who, of these guys. Some of them have never even been around drag racing, but it's really cool to assemble a team, which I'm just a small piece of, but seeing everybody work together and know, like, we have a deadline of basically July 9th at 8 a.m. Like, we might be working up until 7:59 in the morning, but we will be ready for July 9th. And it's really cool, like, having Larry Morgan involved. He's the
Pro Stock Larry Morgan.
Yeah, Pro Stock legend Larry Morgan. Having his insight and his knowledge. This is a guy that's 70 years old that's literally drag raced his entire life, so he's seen the evolution of the entire sport. I mean, those are things that you just can't take for granted. So it's pretty neat. It's a lot of work. A lot of stress. The days are getting longer, I feel like, as we're getting closer. Like we kind of alluded, or we talked about before we went live. It's like, man, I sat down at the desk Monday morning and I clicked on the calendar. I was like, oh, it's that close. Like, and it's really not so much that we're not prepared, because I feel like our pieces are getting put in place rapidly, which is really good to see. But it's still like makes your stomach turn seeing you're 2 weeks away from kicking this thing off.
Yeah, I mean, after putting all that work in, and then especially the first one, like, man, you know what's happened behind all the scenes, and you're like, I just hope it works. You know, what are you gonna do? Because at a certain point, it's literally up to, it is what it is. We did everything we can do. Hopefully, it works out. But I mean, legitimately, with as far as everything you can do, is the Pro Mod event that you guys are getting ready to put it on at Killcare, is that might be the biggest paying, that's more than the World Series of Pro Mod paid.
I'm to be 100% honest with you, I don't know what the World Series of Pro Mod pays.
I think they paid 100. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
maybe 110, but you guys are paying 125, so that's got to be the top.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, working with Daryl, who now owns the IHRA, it's such a privilege because there's things that, building this, we're basically building this from the ground up. So if there's people that we want involved in this deal, or people that we think could be an asset, it's go hire them. So it's same thing with the equipment. If we need X, Y, or Z, like, you should probably just go buy 2 of them just to make sure we have all that stuff. And it's not, Daryl wants this to be the best there is. And I truthfully think, like you're kind of saying, with the $125,000 to win Pro Mod race, this is just a start. Like, this is our first year. Trust me, this isn't the 125,000 this could be a pretty regular thing. So, and that's the same thing with our sportsman classes, our Pro-Am classes. We, I mean, I don't, $5,000 to win. I'm a sportsman racer. You guys are sportsman racers. Like, we get it. $5,000 to win. Yeah, that's cool. I think our round money's really good. But we're looking to grow that. Like, I promise you, I've got guys right now, this second, working on contingency. Our contingency here at IHRA is not going to be what people are used to. I'd rather have 5 companies, and if any of you companies are listening and want to reach out, it's doug@ihra.com. But I don't want, when Casey wins Top Sportsman at Galat and he has these contingency stickers on his car, like, Casey gets paid that money before he leaves the gate. It's not, you're not playing the runaround for 6 months trying to get your $200 check, right? So I'd rather have a smaller quantity but a better quality contingency plan, rather than just kind of throwing some stuff at the wall and hope it sticks. I might not have a single contingency sponsor for my first race. I might not have any for this entire year. I mean, it's June 24th. It's not like not like we really had a whole lot of time to plan this with all the other things that we've been working on. But we've got some people on board that have a lot of knowledge, and their Rolodex is pretty hefty. So we'll be just fine. But we're doing all this for the racer. That's what the point of this was, is giving the racers a place to race, better money, treated. We want to treat them like we want to be treated when we show up to a racetrack. That's what we're shooting for.
Yeah, I know one thing that I've heard a little bit, and kind of Casey, as he has alluded to it, over here at GBR, we've been pro IHRA for quite some time now, as I'm sure you know. And one thing that I've read and am curious about is the amount of classes. Now, I understand, kind of just being a drag racer, that getting that many classes down the racetrack could be somewhat of a challenge. But I have already heard you say, and what I feel is probably the the answer to the equation on how you're going to make it happen is that you guys are able right now to recruit some of the bigger names and some of the bigger brains inside of our sport just based on what you're trying to do. Talk to me. Am I wrong? Are you guys looking at more of like a consultant role for the director's position? Maybe there's 15 of them to help y'all get them down a little faster? Or what's the game plan? That many classes?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. There's a lot of classes, and some of these classes are that we've released are like for example, there's a few classes that won't be ran at every race. So we just gotta kind of pick and choose. Obviously, the pro classes for the most part they'll all be ran at all the races. Obviously, quick rod, super rod, hot rod, stock, super stock, top drags or top sportsman. They'll all be at every race. So there's a couple other classes that we might mix around, but trust me, my anxiety doesn't go down when I look at the run schedule either. I mean, there's no denying it. Part of one of our problems is we don't know if 40 cars are showing up or 400 cars are showing up, which isn't a problem. This is what we get paid to do. We have to make sure we put on a good show for the racers and the fans, and we want everybody to, when they leave Columbus sometime Sunday or Saturday night or whenever they leave, we want everybody to say, man, that was just a fun race, that the show was good, the race was good, there's spectators there, and not everybody feels like they're trying to get taken advantage of, right? I mean, and
a lot of people, I think, don't realize too that if 400 cars show up at a class style event, there's no buybacks. You don't run first round that takes 12 hours twice. You only run it one time, and then it's in theory 6, 3, 1.5, on and on. And it doesn't take as long as people think it does. Let's talk about, while we're on the subject, what classes are we going to see and what's the run format going to be? Because I know you guys had this set up where I think it's like 4 days across 4 days, and it's supposed to be 2 separate races.
Yeah.
How's that going to work?
Yeah. So Wednesday and Thursday at each of our Nitro Outlaw races, or Outlaw Nitro races rather. Wednesday and Thursday will be a Pro-Am event, just like we're used to back in the day. It's going to have your stock, super stock, quick rod, super rod, hot rod, top dragster, top sportsman. So those classes will be ran Wednesday and Thursday. Payouts are the same across all, both races, the Pro-Am or the Outlaw race. So it's $5,000. I think it's $5,000 guaranteed across all those classes. I think top dragster, top sportsman might be a skosh more. But that's the plan. It costs so damn much money to go to these races that you're paying, I mean, whatever it is, $3.50, $4 a gallon for diesel, and just the wear and tear going up and down the road. That trust me, I understand that not everybody can take off of work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to do that deal, but you don't have to run that Pro-Am to be eligible to come and show up and race Friday, Saturday. You can show up after work Thursday night and you can race Friday, Saturday. There's no downside to that. You get a time run Friday morning, and go out and race.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I mean, I try to make it as racer friendly as possible to where, if you have the ability to come run both of those events, and come and run them. Like come on, you save money. You can run 2 events. You get more seat time. I think personally it's easier for somebody to take off 3 days worth of work in 1 week rather than 2 days off back-to-back weeks or whatever it is. So
how are the rod classes, and then top dragster and top sportsman top dragster and top sportsman specifically, are they going to be all run with like an ET maximum or whatever? Or are they going to be a qualified field? How's that going to work?
It's going to be a 32 car qualified field. So at Columbus, at both Columbus races and Milan, they'll be running on the long track, and then 42 and Galat will be 8th mile. So it gives I kind of like it because now it gives everybody the opportunity. Obviously there's people that want to run quarter mile, and there's plenty of people, especially down where we live, Casey.
Right.
I feel like it's 8th mile dominant down there.
They don't have the opportunity down here. There are no
Yeah.
quarter-mile tracks other than, I guess, you could go to Charlotte, which, as far as I've ever heard, they don't really have a bracket program. They only have the national and divisional, or I
Right.
guess you could run Rockingham's divisional. But other than the specialty event, Rockingham doesn't run quarter mile. And I don't know
Right.
if I'd want to run quarter mile at Darlington. I'd run way into the shutdown. It gets bumpy down there.
Yeah, so just giving those people, the racers, the opportunity to pick and choose. I mean, I'm a racer. I don't care if we're going 60 foot or half a mile. Like, just let me stage a car and we'll go race.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
But
Are the rod classes going to be 32 then, or are they going to
No.
be more? They'll be
the
all
rod classes will be all run. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
sweet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's something that I don't know, back in the day they used to have 64 car fields, or I guess depending on the size of the field, they had 128 car fields too, and you had to qualify for quick rod and hot rod and super rod. Like, I would like to get back to that eventually. I think it puts the pressure on. It makes it more exciting. I mean, if you're sitting in the stands watching quick rod, it's not that exciting. I know.
Right.
But if you can make it to where you have the chance of not qualifying, I think that at least it adds a little bit of spice to it.
So
Yeah,
I gotta
absolutely.
start a quick timer because if anybody knows computers, we have recently had to switch from Skype to Teams, and we have 15 minutes left. So I'm gonna cut to our commercial really, really quick. We'll come back, maybe get a couple more questions in here. Who knows, guys? And Doug, if you're down, we might have to have a part 2. Bear with us. Hit the like, subscribe, sub. We'll be right back.
The cooling fan is completely re-engineered with Proform's universal brushless electric fan, the ultimate upgrade for your vehicle's cooling system. Our 4 models deliver between 2,100 and 4,200 cubic feet per minute, providing 50% more cooling power than the competition. The advanced brushless DC motor ensures a lifespan at least twice that of traditional brushed fans. Installation is a breeze. No vehicle-specific controllers needed. Just connect the positive and negative wires to any 12-volt system and you're ready to go. Weighing in under 5 pounds with a 3-inch profile makes the Proform brushless fans the best power-to-size ratio fans on the market. Don't settle for the limitations of yesterday's technology. Get Proform Parts brushless fans for a cooler, more efficient, and more reliable fan for your ride.
BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts are able to provide you with whatever you desire to enhance your drag racing operation. Items like safety belt magnets, nitrous bottle holders, and even quick release delay box mounts are able to be obtained from BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts. Have a look at top selling items such as helmet hooks and steering wheel hooks, which are proven to make it easier to maneuver throughout your race car. You can contact BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts at telephone number 765-729-1177.
Introducing Proform's extensive line of specialty engine building tools designed to make your building and maintenance tasks efficient, precise, and safe. Whether it's trackside on race day or the project car in the garage, you'll find Proform engine builder tools in every gearhead's hand. That's because we make best-in-class tools for great prices. From camshaft tuning, pinion depth setting, precision measurement tools, and much more, we've got you covered. With Proform, you're not just building engines, you're building excellence.
see if that does us some good. I forgot a link for Doug. All right, I'm going to bring us back in and wait for Doug. Make sure we can get him. Let's go to. I'm going to bring us back in right now. You and me, so it's me and you right now.
Okay, cool.
Gotta unlock this. This is pissing me off. I don't think Doug has the link yet. KCO.
Oh man, you got it listed as episode 196. I see.
Actually, I changed it to 197.
Oh, it says 196 on mine still.
We are back live. Sorry for the technical difficulties we are experiencing here. We will get them solved here in just a second. Casey, man, we were having a good conversation with old Doug here. And as I keep trying to get him a link to the new meeting that we have going, talk to us about what we've heard so far, in your opinion. A lot really is going on at that IHRA. And they're doing a really good job thus far from what I see.
Yeah, man, we've been saying since we've been going on 3 years now talking about it. And I know IHRA has changed hands a couple times now and had a couple new people involved or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that from the get-go, our main goal with this whole thing was to just explain to everybody how having a competitor to NHRA for the class guys is only going to be a good thing. It's just like anything else, any other type of business scenario. You don't ever want to have a monopoly on the situation, no matter if it's being a dentist, being Walmart, being NHRA, being whatever. The fact of the matter is, whenever you are the only person there where super stock can go, or super comp, gas, street, etc., comp eliminator, obviously all the fuel classes, they can do whatever they want. And when there is competition, it only makes things better. And ultimately, these guys are sticking their necks out trying to make something happen for people who, here comes Doug, it looks like, tell us a little bit more about it. But these guys are doing everything they can to make everything more successful and have a better opportunity and more opportunities more than anything for these people to run other classes. So luckily we got the man in charge back, or one of them in charge anyway. You hear us, Doug?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Right.
Yeah, we had
Casey, you threw an audible. I feel like you did a great job of being Peyton Manning right there, and you called to Omaha. Oh,
yeah, Omaha.
And all of a
Hey,
sudden,
I watched him do that a lot in Denver.
Shoot, we back. All right, sorry about cutting you off there, Casey. That was some pretty good knowledge you was dropping. Where the heck were we anyway? I don't even remember. We were kind of getting through the classes that are going to be out there, how many cars are going to be in each class, making our way through the fact that it's open run and people can show up on Thursday or Wednesday, race the first race, or Friday and race the second race. We're kind of in pick your poison mode right there.
There's a question here in the chat, which would be a good question for Doug to answer since his old man has a top fuel car. He says, where is it? Somebody in here. Let's see. Joe on the Two Lane Talk podcast said they can stop maybe in 2,000 feet. So they were talking about fuel cars stopping at the shorter tracks. Like Galat, for example, obviously is not terribly long when you're talking about 300 miles an hour. We know that fuel cars have recently, I don't know if it's this year or last year, but broke 300 mile an hour barrier in 1/8 of a mile. How long does a top fuel dragster need to stop from that type of a speed?
Yeah, 2,000 feet is roughly, that's about what we're looking at from the 1,000-foot on. So, going 1/8 mile, you can go a little bit shorter, but obviously 2,000 feet's right about where, that's kind of the shorter side of things for sure.
I don't think people truly understand those parachutes. There's a reason that they pull just as many negative G's as positive G's. And there's a reason what Garlett's retina's detached from throwing 2 chutes too many times.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So
Pretty neat though, because one thing that I can say is that we have not seen, at least to my knowledge, fuel cars to the 8th mile, and I'm really and truly I'm looking forward to that. And
how much maintenance is that going to save those guys?
yeah, that's a good question. That's a
You're
great.
still going to
still
run
not-
them all out?
Yeah, you're still going to tear it down every run. You're going to put a new clutch pack in it every run. You're still going to do all the same things, but we're hoping that. I mean, we would love for everything to be 1,000-foot. Don't get me wrong, but at the same, like it'll save on parts. When you drop a cylinder at a half track and leg it out to 1,000-foot, I mean, there's a chance that that $7,500 injector is in the grandstands, or trying to be grandstands anyways. So.
But how awesome is it going to be? This is something that I don't think people, I mean, you obviously are highly involved with Top Fuel operation, and you understand, but running 8th mile, like because you and I obviously know what Galot's like, know what VMP's like or something. Obviously VMP, they can run quarter mile, IHRA National Event Track. But tell the people what it's like to run at a track that's a smaller track. Like Galot is obviously a nice track. It's big for an 8th mile facility, but to run 300 miles an hour at a smaller track where everything's side by side and right in front of you, how exciting is that going to be for the fans in the stands?
Oh, that's something we're looking forward to tremendously. I mean, we're bringing these cars and this show to racetracks and areas that haven't had anything like this, and
maybe
a
ever.
long time. I mean, you're looking at Columbus. I think I heard the other day it's 25 years, 20 years or something. It's been a long time since Top Fuel cars have raced down Columbus. Then you have Milan. I mean, IHRA hasn't had a national event there, and I would say probably close to 15 years, maybe even more, 20 years. So, there's Galot, obviously we remember, John Benson, can you imagine what it was? I don't know, 10, 15 years ago to what now you're going to have Top Fuel cars there. That's pretty rad.
There's an entire generation of people that have never even experienced that. And that's something that I don't think people fully understand what it's like to experience a nitro car. Like you see the reaction videos and stuff, and people just, they pull more G's than the space shuttle launch. I mean, it's unbelievable. You can't explain that to somebody, what it's like to see a Top Fuel dragster for the first time or a Top Fuel funny car for the first time and just see flames blowing out. And I was telling you before the show, I can't imagine what it's like for those cars to shake the tires, because I shake the tires in my Top Sportsman car and it shakes my eyeballs. That's the closest experience you'll ever get to that, just standing in the stands, because it shakes your everything. It's just, you can't explain it.
I feel like, I've stood on the starting line for a lot of Top Fuel runs. I've been next to them, almost my entire life. And I still feel like every time you watch a Top Fuel car is just like the first time you watch a Top Fuel car. You can't justify the level of intensity it brings. There's nothing that you can, in my world anyhow, there's nothing you can put next to it and be a close second.
Right. It's literally unexplainable. It's one of the few things in life that's unexplainable. I guess the only thing is if some of you live close to a military base or something and you feel the jets fly over you every once in a while, don't forget those things are thousands of feet away from you. You're right next to this car, and it's making, you have to go experience it if you never have. I wanted to ask you this too. Do you think that with the fuel cars, do you think this is going to give the A Fuel guys an opportunity to potentially get their feet wet and maybe step up to Top Fuel or Top Fuel funny car or something like that? And then I guess secondarily, I've heard Clay Milliken say an A Fuel car pulls just as hard to the 8th mile, and then the Top Fuel car just keeps pulling and the A Fuel car runs out of steam. Would an A Fuel car without a supercharger possibly be competitive in the 8th mile?
No, you're talking about cars that I mean, in Galat in November, a top fuel car is going to be capable of going. I mean, especially the quality of top fuel cars that I have on this entry list right now. If you asked me 3 weeks ago, I probably would have laughed at you.
Really?
So, like, we have cars that are capable of going between. You have Scott Palmer, he's coming to all of them. Krista Baldwin, she's coming to a few of them. I don't know how many, but my dad's car. I mean, these cars are capable of going 820, 60 foot. And there's more. I mean, so you look at that, and then you look at like a bad to the bone A fuel car and that kind of weather, they can go maybe 9 flat 60 foot, maybe 890 something if they're really trucking. So they're not competitive, no. And keeping them separate that's big. They're not the same. They're not the same at all. And what we're building here is we want to be on our own little island. We want to have our own deal, but there's some things you just can't mush together. And I'm sure you guys have seen the news that has come out about the alcohol classes moving forward next year. I have racers that are on this entry list for some races. I have racers that are on this our entry list for the whole year that are former world champions that have won world championships within the last couple years that are like gung ho on what we're doing. So giving the alcohol guys, I think part of it is treating them like a professional class. They're spending a lot of money to be there. They're taking the same, the time off of work. They don't get the notoriety they deserve. So, running at 7 a.m. or 10 p.m. when there's nobody in the stands isn't really doing them any justice either.
Right.
And so
I know that Randy Meyer's been, Megan's the one I think that really backs all of his stuff as far as the social media goes. But Randy's been doing a lot of social media lately, and he was talking about that with how NHRA doesn't really give them any kind of primetime type of publicity. And you have to do that to be able to get your publicity. And obviously, Randy Meyer is quite possibly the greatest alcohol dragster racer of all time. The only thing that could even compete with that in the alcohol ranks would be obviously Manzo, which is a totally different category. But the fact of the matter is that, he's saying, look, we're still burning nitro. We're still blowing flames. It still costs us a ton of money to be here. And he was talking about the difference between top fuel and A fuel. He's like, well, the difference is, it means something to park with the pros and get treated like a pro. And how much more pro can you get than running nitromethane?
Yeah. Yeah. There's like I said, there's world championship names on the entry list that, we've been trickling out slowly but surely. We don't want to sell it all out in the first couple of days. But at the same time, we're excited. I mean, there's, the magnitude of this is huge, really. And, for a class like the alcohol guys that have spent so much money on this stuff and so much time developing tune-ups and all that stuff for the other guys to come in and basically change everything. Now you have these cars and these tune-ups and these parts that are obsolete.
Right.
So we have a opportunity to bring those guys and gals over and give them a place to race that we can treat them, the way that, if I was an alcohol racer, that's how I'd want to be treated. Like you said, you're not always going to park on the asphalt. You're not always going to park next to Scott Palmer. But if you can run with the show and be a part of the show, well, if Megan Myers shows up in her Gunk A Fuel dragster, well, Gunk's going to get a whole lot more publicity out of that rather than running at 7 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night.
Exactly. And I think that's what they care about the most is just, what am I supposed to sell these people? Look at all the extra stuff that Megan does to be able to have those sponsors. Because that's not because of the publicity she gets racing. That's because of all the additional stuff she does to get that sponsor. They care about that publicity. They care about getting out there. They care less about being on the race car. That's just what you do with it. That's how you promote it. But if she was into Camaros or something, they would still sponsor Megan because they want Megan specifically for publicity. They don't care that she has an A fuel car. They care that she's giving them the publicity they want.
Yeah, obviously being a world championship driver and having a top-notch deal like Randy's built, that definitely doesn't hurt. But you're right, all the extra work that family puts in, and it's not just the Myers, right? I mean, you have the Samsel family, and Tony Bartone and John Oshman, and there's people that are doing this and spending every dollar they make and every hour they have in the day trying to prove themselves and prove to themselves and try and make it. And this sport is cruel. It is cruel. I mean, so you have to give those people the chance and see if whatever we can do to help grow our sport is obviously that's our full intentions.
What's your thought about IHRA nitpicking all this stuff? Because for the last 2 years, it seems like it's one thing after another. It started with the Clay Millican shaking the tires and weight falling off, and then Erica's whole deal with the tires or the wheel that wasn't illegal but wasn't legal, and now they're nitpicking Langdon for bolts that are torqued to 15 foot-pounds. And who would have thought a top fuel car had the ability to shake them out? What's up with that?
Yeah, obviously I don't have any privy information from the NHRA tech department, but there's plenty of things. I mean, like Clay's weight deal, that's safety, right?
Right.
There's safety things for sure. But one thing that we've told ourselves, if you're going to do it once, you better be prepared to do it every time. So obviously it's easy to say when we haven't even parked one rig yet, but that's one thing that we're going to stand by, is if we do it once, we're prepared to do it again. So
I feel like in certain cases too, like fair is fair, but excessive is excessive. And like, I agree that the Clay's thing, you're going 300 and some mile an hour. It sucks that it vibrated off or whatever, but it is what it is. A 10-pound weight flying off of a car going that fast, that is a big deal. Some bolts coming out due to excessive tire shake or just the forces of the car. I feel like I don't know. I don't even know how you draw the line, because at the end of the day, something in the rule book, it's the rule. What do you want to do? But it's like, man, can we at least put this up for a vote amongst people to be like, does it slide? Or because I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in the shoes of the person making the decision if they have any friends in the business whatsoever, because you have to just be a guy that's okay with being hated, I guess. But I mean, that's just, as somebody who works on cars, that a top fuel car clearly has the capability of shaking those little bitty bolts out.
Yeah, my guess would be if there was probably a whole lot worse infractions that happened last weekend or hell in the last couple of years that probably have been, shaken under the rug. But
right.
I guess it's, I'm not sure if there's underlying reasons to why, is there a backstory that goes a little further than that? Has Langdon's guys been warned, or I don't know. I don't, the little bit of information I do have on that, I don't know how credible it is or anything. So it's not really worth talking about. But
well, you may be right too. Maybe that team got away with, maybe Coletta Motorsports got away with something, in a week prior, and they're like, look, man, we let you get away with the other one. We can't let you get away again.
Yeah, and like I said, I really don't know if that is the case or not. But I'm just, my opinion is that there has been things that other teams have done, whether it's Coletta or Force or anybody really for that matter, or like you said, you mentioned Erica's deal. I mean, there's so many gray areas in the rule book that it's hard to pick and choose which ones you're going to enforce and which ones you aren't. So it is what it is. It
Do
sucks.
you,
I
if
mean,
you're
it's-
in Langdon's situation, does the Wally go missing or do you return it?
Well, so I do know that NHRA brought the Wally down to Justin's, and they returned the Wally to Coletta and said they didn't win the race. This isn't our Wally. I'm sure the crew guys that are getting the bonus checks on each side, I'm sure Justin's guys are happy, and Langdon's guys probably aren't as happy.
Yeah.
You know, the points mean quite a bit this year, so it's you know, is what it is. But
So before we get out of here, there's one thing that we haven't got to mention. I figure like we might want to give a little bit of time to, and that's going to be more so on the bracket side of things. I know you probably might have a little input on any of the recent changes that might need to come out with the World Finals or Team Finals, things of that nature. You got any announcements or any highlights you want to make about those two programs?
nothing. We have a lot of stuff in the works. We've been planning on a lot of things, and you know, especially moving into the future. So, but this year, you know, we've obviously raised our payouts for Team Finals and World Finals substantially. So we're looking forward to that. Just it's really just business as usual, though. You know, we moved World Finals will be at Steel this year, so we're looking forward to going down to Alabama and getting to spend a weekend in October in Alabama. Sounds pretty nice. So we're looking forward to that. Just yeah, we're staying busy. So working on, you know, we have Stacy Kettles and Chris Eager, our division directors, along with myself, and you know, we have a good group of leaders here, and they have really good. We all three of us have good relationships with our racetracks that we work with day in and day out. So that's the most important piece, and obviously our racers, our racetracks and our racers are what makes us be able to keep the doors open here. So Team Finals and World Finals, yeah, we're looking forward to it. We have that's a fun time of year for us. It's busy, it's hectic, but being able to go to whatever it is, 6-7 racetracks in 10 weeks and World Finals and Crown Champions and do that whole deal. It's you know, we kind of get lost in it. I do. I get lost in it just to the fact that we go to these races and, you know, like we were talking about the TB race, it pays $250,000, and we're just so lucky and fortunate to be able to do these things that, you know, when it comes to the World Finals, you get to go, and Team Finals, you get to race with a group of racers that, you know, they might not have the means to leave their home track, or, you know, and that could be a couple different things, whether it's the time off of work, or it just costs so much money to go up and down the road that you kind of get lost in it. And going to those races and spending time with those racers and seeing the like how accomplished they are and how happy they are when they get that Ironman. We all know the money isn't really why we do this. It's
Notoriety.
Yeah, the notoriety, the competition is just next level, especially the bracket racing. Actually, I guess just racing across all forms anymore is it's so competitive, and it's just unreal. So whether you win at your local race on Saturday night, or you win the million, you know, in St. Louis, you did the same thing. You just did it on a different stage is all it is. So,
well, and I like the fact that I feel like you guys are trying to bring the notoriety back to World Finals, bracket finals, for those of you that speak NHRA. But the thing that I do not like about how NHRA has done their bracket finals in the last few years is they allow you to pick a team. And I don't like that, because whenever I was running bracket finals 20 years ago now, you had to earn your spot.
Yeah.
You had to be in the top 10 to be able to go. And and the reason why that matters is because now when you go to bracket finals, you legitimately beat the baddest people in the whole division. And then whenever you would go to Pomona, those are the guys who were the baddest guys in their division, and you beat them, you are actually the man. In my opinion, if you pick your team, that's a load of crap, because now you can take somebody who may not even have ran at that track. You know, like, for example, let's speak North Carolina here for a minute. If you can pick your team, what are you going to pick? You're going to pick people like Ernie Humes. You're going to pick the Pascal brothers. You know, you're going to pick you and your brother, and you're going to stack a team. But you guys might be racing at Mooresville, and Ernie's racing at Farmington, and the Pascals might be racing at Piedmont, and, you know, and there's plenty of people at Galat to pick from. But it's like, that's just stacking your team. You know, that's not right.
Yeah, I think it's I think the racing on the local level and people taking points serious is, I think it was kind of quiet for a few years, especially in our area, it seemed like. But you look at it now, I mean, I went to Union a few times this year. I went to Shadyside. There's 200 plus cars at these points races. I mean, you're actually racing for a spot on that roster, like you mentioned. It's not just Tony Brown's not calling 2 weeks before team finals trying to put a team together. That's not happening. Roxborough, I went to their Easter Bash. I think there was like 300 cars there. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of support. There's so many racers, and especially in our area in North Carolina, there's so many tracks to choose from, but it's really strong. The whole bracket racing scene where we're at it's incredible, and I think that's really, at least across our racetracks and within the IHRA, it's pretty cool.
When we hear about how many people are like, this is the hardest place to win. Well, bracket finals used to settle that. Yeah. Because you used to take your top guys, because it meant something to win, the championship there. And you had to go to all the points races to even have the opportunity to run that event. And to take the top 10 from every category, or top 16, whatever it was, I don't even remember anymore, and run it off for the rest of the year, for the whole next season, you can say, no, this is the hardest place to win because we won bracket finals.
Oh, yeah.
We won world finals. Like, it means something, and I would love to see that come back again, because I think there's a lot of young guys out there, they get lost in, well, it's not a 50 grander. Well, it's not this. Well, it's not that. Well, you don't understand. You had to, first of all, be consistent enough to even be able to have the opportunity to run this race. You had to be good for the whole year, not just one day, because we've all been there. There's a lot of times, like you were just talking about at the 250K, you suck all weekend, do great the good day, know? I mean, it is what it is. That's how racing goes. But you've already had a success story of the entire year being consistent enough to even have the opportunity to race it. And then you have to be good that day too. And all these guys have been good all year too. They're having good years too. So you're legitimately running the best of the best. And again, it settles the constant conflict, which we have more than anybody in North Carolina because we have so many tracks. Galat's the hardest place to win. Mooresville's the hardest place to win. Farmington's the hardest place to win. Well, we can figure that out real quick if we have bracket finals the way it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. I agree. It's and the bracket, the team finals and world finals, you go to those races and I'm sitting in the tower and it's like, the runs that are side by side, it's like, man, this could be the final of any 50 grander out there. And like the names of these people are people that, might not be known on the national level, but they have every opportunity to, win team finals. And now they're nationally recognized. Now they're going to world finals for that shot at, you have a 1 in 75 chance or whatever it is to be a world champion in that class. So it's neat. And we have some ideas that we're kicking around and, try to make it bigger. And, obviously it's our job on the sanctioning body side to do what we can to make these events more prestigious and help these racers get more recognition. So that's something that's on our radar and we talk about pretty often.
That's good stuff.
Absolutely, man. Well, we love what you're doing. We've obviously been talking about it forever. I can't wait to see it come to fruition. Obviously,
it makes two of us.
yeah.
Saturday Eve coming,
Obviously,
man. Keep it up. Keep going. You're almost
right.
there.
Obviously, we want to give you the opportunity to shout out anything we haven't talked about. Thank whoever you got to thank. Is there anything you need to tell everybody before we get out of here?
Yes, all the payouts are guaranteed. That's first and foremost. That's probably the most asked question I get. The license, everybody will need an IHRA license to run at these events. So if you have a license in a different sanctioning body, we do cross over your license. It's $110 for the year. So make sure that if you are planning on coming to any of our national events, and just kind of for for your guys' information, for $110, you have world-class insurance backing you at any IHRA sanctioned racetrack. So we have $1 million insurance policy that's good for each and every member. So and that's why you have to have a license. We don't all have the same insurance providers. We don't all have the same plans. So it's our job as a sanctioning body to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody has the proper credentials to be racing. So that's first and foremost. All cars do need to be certified. I don't care. As long as it's SFI certified, it's SFI certified for this year anyhow.
So if you got NHRA tag, WDRA tag, whatever, it all crosses.
Yeah, as long as you have a certified chassis, and that's current, obviously, then you're good to go. We're not here to nickel and dime everybody. We want this to be the best it can be. We know what we're capable of. We have a really good team here that have some of the guys that have been doing this, 30, 40, 50 years that bring a lot of experience to the table. And I'm really looking forward to working with these guys into the future. I guess selfishly to learn from them, right? But having those guys on our team that have the knowledge and the experience, that's stuff that's, you can't take for granted at all. So those are two of the bigger things. I know I've had a bunch of, I was telling George and Casey before we went live, the rule book deal, there's like 17 rule books, I think. And there was only a couple of us working on it. So obviously, you guys brought to light the Roadster deal. We got that kind of hashed out, but for the stock and super stock deal, you're basically going to go off of what the general rules are for stock and super stock. So you take that for what it's worth. But if you need to find out what your weight combination is and you've ran stock and super stock, there's a good chance you probably know where to find that. And that's what we base.
I have one quick question on that, because I know there are some stocker and super stock guys listening. Heads up runs. Heads up runs and record runs. What's the deal with that?
So for this year, we're not gonna penalize anybody. There will be no factoring. We have a pretty small group here, and if we want to start opening that can of worms, we're going to be in some deep trouble real quick. We're smart enough to realize that. We are going to have tech, and these guys that are teching the stock and super stock guys have been doing this longer than probably the three of us have been alive combined. So good thing is I know neither one of them are watching, so I don't have to worry about that. I think they still have dial-up at their house probably.
If we have two like H stock automatic cars, we're running heads up though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So it'll be qualified off indexes, just the way God intended stock and super stock. So I'm looking forward to that. The rod classes, it's pretty cut and dry. Nitrous is allowed, so that's kind of
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and trust me, I've had my fair share of emails, people telling me how stupid I am. I'm stupid, I know that. But
smart enough to know that.
Listen, we use nitrous and bracket racing all the time. I don't see there really being use nitrous. You can use nitrous top dragster. I don't see what the difference is. You're going 2 seconds slower at
It's a lot of times same motor.
Exactly. So
you guys have the rule that says you have to be within a certain qualifying distance of your qualifying pass within Top Sportsman, Top Dragster with the nitrous, or can you after you've made your qualifying pass shut that nitrous down and go dialing for 80s?
to be honest with you, I'd have to look. I don't even know. But I'll take a look at that.
Usually it's always within a tenth of what you qualify.
And to be honest with you, I mean, if you, George, want to go 670 in your qualifying run and then dial 730, and I have to race you first round, like you can dial. If you want to dial up a half a second, like have at it. Good luck, you know. So I'll take a look at that. That's a good point. But
well, we've just seen it in a few other places, I guess, man. You know, coming out of super quick ranks. Locally in Division 3 and a few other classes who kind of, you know, just paid attention to that little thing. With nitrous anyway, you know, you got a 5-second car that can spray every ounce.
Yeah, I mean, you spray the brains out of it and go 450, but you can't do it every time.
Can't do it every time, man. You get that one good pass and it's like,
well,
you shut the oh, shoot.
And the downside for that is then say you got a guy with a really badass NA motor that can go 430s or something, and then somebody sprays it to go 27 or something, and this guy can go 30. Yep. And then now that guy's running tomorrow going 450s, and he's like, whoa, what's up with this, you know?
Anyway, it's just the ideas and being around the sport, man, so long, just popped out of my head.
Yeah.
So sorry I caught you off guard. You know?
No, you're fine. Trust me. So I think that's really it on the sportsman pro-am classes. The pro classes, I mean, since we've been on this call, I've gotten 2 more people confirmed to run Top Fuel at Columbus. So it's we're doing good. There's a lot of traction. I feel pretty confident in what we have going on here. I know there's probably some people watching that we've purchased one of your home tracks. We travel to these tracks pretty often. Me being in Cincinnati now, Columbus is pretty close. I'm there a couple times a week. We go to Milan a couple times a week, or usually, twice a week. So these tracks might not look the same when you guys show back up to your beloved home track, but they look better than they did previously. So Daryl, he spent a bunch of money, a boatload. Like the 3 of us could have had a lot of fun.
Man.
But bought a lot of trailer jacks.
A lot of trailer jacks, yeah. So, but I mean, Milan, if you guys are up in that Detroit area, that's going to be a world-class facility. The pits are repaved. It's a brand new timing system. Brandon Mass just left there and put down the surface there. I mean, the place just got ground. Obviously Galat's already a world-class facility. I mean, where we come from, where we live, that I'm not sure you get any nicer than Galat. Then you got National Trail. They repaving, they did a lot of work on the racetrack this winter, repaving the pits, timing system, just, the tower is basically completely redone. So, we have big plans for all these tracks. There's more tracks in the works that are, coming down the pike probably sooner rather than later. So you guys will hear about it pretty soon.
What about a live feed for these events?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah,
so
where are we going?
I can't believe you forgot that, George.
I don't trust me. I didn't forget it. Just I ain't had. Go ahead.
I was waiting for that. So we actually we're coming down the home stretch on that right now. So we will have a live stream at our races. I'm not ready to announce with who yet, but it will be there, and it will be on. It won't be on cable. I will tell you that, but it'll be a streamed event, and it'll be streamed the whole way through. So Wednesday through Saturday, there will be cameras live. So
awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I definitely, even if it isn't Old Going Bracket Racing doing it, I want to watch. So
Yeah,
it is. I want to watch.
Yep.
So, yeah,
we've done a lot of.
weeks. I was already thinking, man, where can I watch?
Yep.
So, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yep. So we're looking forward to it. If anybody has any questions or wants to reach out, Doug at IHRA.com. I try and get back to people as quickly as I can. But yeah, if you got any questions, don't hesitate. We'd like to have everybody out here at one point or another. So we're just trying to do what we can do to make our sport better.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate everything you're doing. We really appreciate you spending all this time with us, dealing with the, I would say actually relatively minor hiccup with the feed. I don't know if anybody even noticed that if we wouldn't have said anything. We always bust ourselves out on it, but
true.
Yeah, I got to go put my boy to bed, man. So
yeah. Hey, Doug, thanks for coming. Casey, man,
appreciate
as
it.
always, thanks for being a partner. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for another episode of GBR. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.